Oh, I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you guys here. Happy 2024, everybody. Wishing you guys all the best. Now, I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the idea of helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced is just so, and this is a great example too, because that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, but it's just so you can attain your highest level of consciousness. But what you're also doing by becoming mentally and emotionally balanced is that you're becoming in alignment with yourself. That this is what we call the yin and the yin, and this is you becoming whole, becoming perfect. Now, this is you becoming the perfect man. And just so you understand, when I'm talking about being perfect, I'm not talking about being flawless, but perfect in the sense of complete, meaning your emotions and your intellect comes hand in hand. And as you see in the title of this recording here, we're going to be talking about dependency and being independent. But anyway, I don't want to get too much ahead of myself here. But I figured, this is a good way to set it up pretty much. So I want you to keep that in mind. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about, and the whole idea for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, obviously, you're becoming in alignment with yourself. But what's also taking place is as you become whole, now you have a broader perspective. That's how you attain a highest level of consciousness. And just so you guys understand what it's like or what it is to attain a highest level of consciousness, okay, a perfect example of that would be when you look at, let's just say, somebody like Jesus, when you're looking at somebody like Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, whoever else. These people are not, I mean, I don't want to say nothing, are simply a depiction of what it's like to attain that highest level of consciousness. That's why, if you know anything about their story, they had to go through their 40 days and 40 nights, their trials and tribulations, but most importantly, they attained that level. And that's what they represent. And that's why your spirituality also has to be materialized, or the words got to be made flesh, or your knowledge has to turn into wisdom. But anyway, that's what that is. So now, why is it important for you to become in alignment with yourself? Well, the most obvious one is the one we just talked about, which is that's the only way for you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Because think about it. If you're depressed, now you're not gonna be in your clearest or the best mental state. It doesn't work that way. In fact, if you're depressed, you're gonna see things a little bit fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's what comes with it. So this is just to show you that your emotions, when it's not balanced, has a direct connection to your intellect and the way you act. Just like if you were bit by a dog at a young age, at an early age, you know what I'm saying, then your intellect is going to be wired that way. Then you'll do your best not to be close to any type of dog or animal for that matter. And the same thing also exists if you become, let's just say, you become very intellect. Then by you becoming very intellect, you are suppressing your emotions. Then now you're missing out on the small things. You stepping on people's toes without even you realizing that. You become very rigid, you become very logical, robotic. You don't take, other stuff into consideration. So meanwhile, even in our life, That's why there is such a thing as emotional intelligence, because we understand you are more than just your logic. And to be honest, when you become very logical and you're suppressing your emotions, again, you become imbalanced. So you're not gonna have the broadest, you're not gonna see, you're not gonna attain the highest level of consciousness. It's just not gonna happen. So that's why it's important for those two to come together and for you to become the holy men, being perfect as, God is, which is complete. And now you'll be able to have that highest level of consciousness. So now let's delve a little bit deeper, right? Let's go a little bit further. Now, when I'm talking about, let's just say, being emotionally balanced. Now, you cannot be emotionally balanced if your emotions are suppressed. So you would have to be connected with your emotions. But that connection pretty much entails you understanding, first of all, what your emotions are, and also you understanding your emotional patterns. And then at this point, if there's any type of blockages, then you have the capability to work on your own emotions, either to remove those blockages or even to transmute those emotional blockages. So again, essentially, pretty much, you have to be in touch with your emotions for you to be emotionally balanced. I mean, it's kind of like of a no-brainer, but I mean, it is what it is. That's why I'm here anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about all the no-brainer shit. So now, in addition to that, I also help you to become mentally balanced. Now, if you understand what I just said about being emotionally balanced, it's the same baseline understanding, meaning you would have to look at your mind, you would have to understand how your mind works. But most importantly, or in addition to it, you also would have to be more conscious of how you were trained to think. Because for you to be mentally balanced, you have to become more aware of your mentality. How is it working? How did I get to think this way? How is society is conditioning me to think, or how is the political bullshit is influencing my life, whatever the fuck it is. But ultimately, what you're doing is you have to understand how your minds work, but most importantly, you have to understand how are you being conditioned to think. People like to talk about mind control well, mind control truly, it really comes down to how you were trained to think. Meaning you're not thinking, and a lot of people, a lot of us, I guess, would like to say woke or whatever the fuck it is, but ultimately, if the way you're thinking is conditioned, meaning it's the way they want you to think, I mean, you. How can you be mentally balanced? It doesn't make any sense. That's why it's important for you, like I always tell people. Now, for you to be in touch with yourself, you have to acknowledge the day to day shit because all of these things have an influence on you. Like your culture, it makes you think a certain way. But now, if you think in a certain way and life is just this big and you're thinking only on this side, then you become one sided. Again, I want you to keep that alignment in mind because when we're talking about being whole, becoming perfect, it's pretty much it's embracing the yin and the yin. It's ma'at, and that's what true justice is. It's truly embracing all side of you. You see what I'm saying? It's important. Like I'll give you, and I like using that example, right? In our culture, arranged marriages, it's like it's viewed as like that shit is it's evil. You know what I'm saying? Shit is evil. But that's because you only conditioned to see things in one perspective. But if you're open to learn about why do they do that, well, it will give you a broader perspective. Now, you don't have to follow them, but at least understand it, and that understanding is expanding your consciousness. Because for them, they understand marriage has nothing to do with love. And here's another misconception that we have in our culture. We look at marriage as love. It's not true. I mean, which part are we talking about? Are you talking about the ceremonial aspect of it? Perhaps. But if you're talking about, I mean, it is a contract. You know what I'm saying? That's why, guess what? If you, like Eddie Murphy said, hey, you want to be out? Well, now you tell me exactly what that has to do with love. But yet, in our mind, or in our culture, in our train of thinking, that's how we look at it. But for them, knowing that that's not what it is, and the reality is, marriage is not love. So if you're gonna get married, you need somebody because that's their perspective of them doing it. Now you need someone who's a little bit older than you, who could negotiate for you. If I'm gonna buy a car, I mean I've never bought a car before. It would be in my best interest maybe to bring a mechanic or somebody who's mature in buying cars. Because marriages, those are like power moves, man. Because now legally you become you know what I'm saying, you become part of that family and vice versa. So therefore they have access to your material gains, to certain shit. That's why like a lot of kings back in the days, they understood when they married with this thing, then they become automatically an alliance which with whichever kingdom or whoever princess that they choose to marry to. Hey, listen, man. I mean, it just is what it is. So having that understanding allows you, I don't know, for me, definitely allows me to have a broader perspective, not to be in that little bubble. And then guess what? You thinking it's love. Well, go ahead and get a divorce. Since you no longer love that person, or maybe you have your differences and shit's not working out. Well, guess what? Half. All right, if you have your prenup. So what's the thing that people are talking about helping you to become more conscious of prenups? What they truly telling you is be aware this is a contract. Has nothing to do with love. But yet in our culture, well, if he loves you, how come he didn't marry you? Do you he do you see the problem here? So here we are in a cult. We don't even understand our own culture. And that's crazy. And every culture is gonna be biased, man. You see what I'm saying? It's gonna be biased. That's why for you, in order for you to be a better human being, fuck spirituality. I'm gonna talk about that too. And well, it's all the same anyway. For you to be a better human being, you can't be biased. You gotta see shit from different perspective. Meaning you have to include other people too. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Making a long story short, basically when I'm talking about helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, obviously it helps you to become more of a holy person, more of a complete person. And of course, that's how you attain your highest level of consciousness. But I also wanted to give you a little more details about what I meant or what I mean by you being mentally balanced and also being emotionally balanced. Now, if you're coming back, Happy New Year's, mother lovers. You already know what we do here. Love is love. That's exactly. Hey, listen, man. Let's break some bread. Listen. Let's usher in this 2024 by talking some shit. I got it for you. Come get your medicine. Okay, so this is always gonna be your holy communion. This is always gonna be, love. Each one teach one. I mean, that's where I'm coming from with all of this. So it's truly for you, and I'm giving you all of me. You know why? I love me and I love you. In fact, because I love me, I love you. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about self-love too. And I think I just spend a little bit of time on that because 2024, love yourself, baby. Because by you loving yourself, now you could see that quality in yourself in other people. When you don't see that in you, you're not going to see it in other people. So when you talk, and that's the main difference between someone who's self-love, who love themselves, and somebody who's selfish. When someone is selfish, they're not dealing with their internal feelings. They don't, that's not what they look at. But what they truly, that the only thing they're looking at now is the material side of them, the external benefit. So it doesn't matter if they step on your shoes or on your toes or not. That's what they're concerned with. Whereas with self love, now you're looking at your qualities. You're looking at these things inside of you. And that's why now you're looking for that thing you see inside of you in someone else. Again, that's why the whole thing here, it all comes down to you. It all comes down to you. That's why if you false to yourself, you can never be true to somebody else. You want to change the world? Well, make yourself look at the men in the mirror. And again, I had a a recording where I was talking about if everything comes from us, how the fuck do we get to devalue ourselves? This shit's crazy. There's no practical benefit in you neglecting yourself. Besides, if you're looking to be pleased and accepted by other people, for some political bullshit, then for you now to be humble, I ain't shit. And even humble has nothing to do with you thinking you the shit or you not the shit. In fact, if you truly want to be humble, it's when you know you're the shit. Now you knowing that you the shit. Now I don't put myself above you. I mean, if you're really gonna get down to it. But how can you be humble if you ain't shit? So you already ain't shit. So it makes sense for you not to look at yourself or not to even. I mean, come on. If you're already looking at yourself like you ain't shit, so how the fuck can you be the shit to somebody else? Vice versa. So truly to be humble is you knowing that you're the shit, but yet because I'm the shit doesn't mean I have to step over you. I'll let you go, buddy. So being humble has nothing to do with you not knowing your worth. Absolutely not. But anyway, Welcome back, motherfuckers. And Happy New Year. Now, as part of my routine, you already know for those of you who came back, I always like to take the time and talk a little bit about spirituality. And the reason being is as a spiritual healer, spirituality is pretty much the foundation, my foundation. That's how, the knowledge that I'll be sharing with you guys, that's where it stems from. And at the same time, I guess I'm being a little bit transparent as well. I mean, it's only right, right? So, but most importantly, too, if you understand spirituality, then you also understand your nature. The Kabbalion says it even better. They said something about, if you understand, the mental nature of the universe, you are on your way to self mastery because there is a direct connection between you and your environment. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But going back to, if you understand spirituality, then I mean, listen, man, congratulations, baby, because you are well advanced at this point. For you to know who you are, you're very close, baby. Keep going. Keep going. So now, when I'm talking about spirituality, to simply put it, to simply say it, or to simply give you the definition of what it is, it's your ordinary life. The goods and the bad, all growth, the science of ignorance, the science of wisdom. It's all of it. But most importantly, it's you. It's your essence. Because spirituality derives from the word spirit, which is you, a living mind. That's why our lives are based on our perspective. Based on you want to change your life or change your thoughts. You want to be better, well, you learn more. That is our essence. But now a lot of us we don't quite see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like for you, like, damn, what the fuck is okay, I see what he's saying, but okay. The reason why most people don't see it that way, meaning they have a misconception of it, is because you've been trained to look at yourself, and this is where being mentally balanced is very important, because you were trained to only look at yourself from a physical perspective. So meaning you just look at yourself as dick and pussy, as I think brilliantly put it. But all I'm saying is now you're looking at yourself from a one-sided perspective. That's why if you're not looking at it from a one-sided perspective, then you should understand, just like you need food for you to eat for your body to keep going, well, guess what? You also need some other type of food for you to feed your mental. You gotta water your garden too. And that isn't that what Jesus is saying? Man shall not leave off of bread alone. And even if you don't want to look at it from that perspective, look at your regular life. People go out, go to fucking vacations. Why do you do it? This is you nourishing a different aspect of you. Taking a walk by the beach. I'm just trying to get you to see that there is more to you than what you've been trained to look. Then, I mean, that's what makes it a one sided perspective. Now, if you truly want to talk about mind control, you under mind control because you don't even see your true nature. You're doing it anyway. Why do we listen to music? Come on. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's something it does for you. That's why you go ahead and pay for it. Some of us would go to like a Beyonce concert, right? You pay for it. Well, that's what you're paying for. So to look at your life from only an external perspective is out of ignorance. That's what ignorance is. Meaning you're looking at it from a limited perspective. You don't see the bigger picture. And because of that, now most people, when it comes to spirituality, they always feel like it's outside of them. Meanwhile, in our practical life, everything we do, knowledge is everything. Changing your thoughts, making your life better, not being toxic, all of that shit involves you knowing more or having a deeper perspective of you and your environment. So again, most of us don't see it from that perspective out of ignorance. And then another misconception too, when it comes to spirituality, because I'm trying to help you to get to see it for what it is. Sometimes people look at it as, let's just say religion, meaning a belief system that you have. Like I could say, I am an atheist. I don't believe in God. So therefore, when you're talking about spirituality, perhaps it's got to be someone it's got to be a religious person. Another misconception, another big misconception, because it has nothing to do with that. Because regardless, and I'm gonna touch. I just don't want to get too much ahead of myself here because I'll be talking about that too shortly. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's far from that. Because I mean, religion in so many. That's why they said it's men made, right? Who made it? Us, and that's deep too. I wasn't even thinking about that. And because of your essence, that is your creation. And just so you guys know too, the true meaning of religion, it's dealing with the divine in human form. And for me, I deal with that on a regular basis. So I am a religious guy, but not on by the current definition or maybe of what you're looking at in terms of having different belief systems or shit like that. Then now in spirituality, just like let's just say in religion, people have their books, right? They have their, let's just say, if you're a Christian, then the Bible is your to go. Now, those would be considered as what we call in the spirituality is esoteric knowledge, those sacred texts, those sacred understanding. And what they are, especially when you're dealing with the occult, what the occult is simply doing is just helping you, is giving you a deeper understanding of the person that you already is or you already are, depending on how you want it. When I'll give you a perfect example. When we say, when you start, if you, let's just say some of the basic stuff you would learn about the occult is that they would let you know that you have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. Now, I don't give a fuck if you're Muslim. I don't give a fuck if you're Christian. You have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. That's where spirituality, it embodies it all. It embraces religion, is religion and more, just like everything else. And it's also too, I forgot to mention that, it's also you looking at yourself from just the external perspective. And there's a reason why you're thinking that way, because you have attached yourself, you have identified yourself with only your external aspect. This is all spirituality. And this is where, and this is from that, I'm speaking from that perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a spirit understanding. So now the occult now is dealing with what you call, what I call those esoteric knowledge. Now those are the type of knowledge that you cannot take literal. You have to go inward. You have to have a deeper understanding, because that type of knowledge is exactly what it does. It helps you to get deeper. So when we say hidden, I mean the occult. Most people call it a hidden culture. Personally, I just don't like that. I don't like it. But I get what they're saying, because the hidden culture, now you're dealing with a whole aspect of you that is hidden. You have your shadow self. You have your emotions that you do not see. All of these things, they contribute to your life. That's why when you go see a shrink, because of our nature, now the motherfucker's asking you questions about how was it like when you were a kid. Because in the occult, we also use the term, you have to heal your wounded child. And what this is referring to is just those early emotions, those early disappointments. You have to cater to them. You have to acknowledge them. Shit, shit. 2024, niggas. Shit, I feel like I'm too serious for a minute. No, relax. It's that serious, but it's not that serious, right? So the occult, pretty much, that's why I call it. Those are manuals to help you to better yourself. Most importantly, when they telling you some of the basic shit, you have a subconscious mind. What this is doing is it's shedding light. It's helping you to start looking at that dark side of you now, meaning the part of you that I don't see, but you best believe that fucking exists. And what you call a good human being, you have to address that side of you. That's how, in fact, that's how you get to have compassion for other people. You have to delve into your inner self. I mean, it being your emotions or whatever the fuck, you're dealing with your dark side. So it's not hidden in a sense of it's being kept away from you, but hidden meaning, or those esoteric knowledge. What this is saying is you got to look a little bit deeper. You got to go beyond what you're looking at. And the Indians, who understand that in their mysticism, they talk about this world, the world that we're living in. They call it Maya, meaning it's a world of illusion. Oh, listen, if you understand this, man, listen, you good. You know what I'm saying? This is you walking in 2024, you know what I'm saying, holding your dick, baby. I want you to walk in 2024 strong, you hear me? Like shit, like you can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I want you to embrace 2024 like nobody could tell you shit. Not because you're not listening, but because you know what you know. And if you know what you're gonna tell me. I don't even need to listen. Say it to yourself. Or I may choose to entertain you. It's all good. It's all part of me too. But you can't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome 2024, baby. You know what I'm saying? Walk around here, you know what I'm saying? Hold on to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's your pivotal point. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. But anyway, and that's what you're dealing with when we're talking about the occult. Those sacred texts, those mystery. I mean, anytime people are talking about the mystery of anything, it's pretty much you getting to the bottom of what that thing is, or you unraveling or unmasking whatever the thing that you don't truly see is. And that's what makes us in so many ways, when we talk about when you're talking about mysticism. Let me love you, man. Let me love you. Would you allow me to love you? Let me love you. This is for you. You know what I'm saying? This is your 2024 gift, baby. Let me love you. Please let me do. I mean, please allow me. You know what I'm saying? We love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna love you anyway. It'll be better for you. It'll be much better for you. But anyway, all right, I'm walling. Yeah. So now, pretty much, I'm saying that to say, truly, when it comes to spirituality, that type of wisdom or that type of knowledge is truly your essence. It's who you are. And then going back to what the why the Indian called this Maya a world of illusion, meaning it's everything you look at is not what they appear to be. Now, quantum physics, and this is what the Kabbalians call, and I really love that name, material science, because their science only deals with the physical aspect. Now, quantum physics now, it's a little more advanced, physics, scientist who was learning about this world and experiencing, trying to get to know whatever the fuck they're doing. Now, they tell you, and that right there, that should blow your fucking mind. I hear people discuss or debating, is the earth flat? Is it round? Eh, what you truly need to know is that this is a fucking illusion. Doesn't mean it's fake. There's a big difference when you're talking. A lot of people sometimes they tend to not truly understand the word illusion. Illusion means it's not what it looks, what it appears to be. So let's go back to what we were talking about, right? So we were talking about loving yourself. You want to change your life? Well, you change yourself. But most people, you get to thinking changing your life, you got to go external for you to do it. To change your life, it's not you getting, let's just say, a better car than the car that you had before. I mean, that is also part of it too, but it doesn't stop there. Changing your life truly is you changing your perspective. That's why you'll see a brother, maybe he used to be hard, now he's no longer that. Why? Because his perspective has changed. So now I'm on the peaceful side. I used to be a thug, so now, what I'm saying, I'm helping out the community. Why? I got to see things better. I have a different perspective. Whatever the fuck. I mean, I'm not talking about me. I never was a thug, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be thugging though. You know what I'm saying? I'll be talking, but I was never thug, baby. So already, that's what the illusion is. The illusion will make you feel like you gotta go in the external for you to change your life, whereas that's not the case. You have to change you, and now the external will change automatically. Then now you may have the people that are deceiving others, meaning they're putting on a front, but internally that's not who they are. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, we're gonna talk about all that too. Well, in fact, we're not even gonna talk about it. Even for you to get to know somebody else, right? To get to know someone, when you say this is my friend, to get to know someone is to know their character. It's not just to know their physical features, what they look like and shit like that. But you got, okay, what they like, what they don't like, but it's to truly know that person. And when you're doing that, you automatically bypass or transcend their physical appearance. Not that you are looking to suppress it, not to say that's not part. No, that's also part of them. But now you get to see more in them, or you get to see it on like beyond the veil. So you dealing in this illusion, it means that anything that you have to look at shit past what they look like. So now going back to quantum physics, what quantum physics is now telling you, what you're calling an object, those are condensed energy. Now that should fuck your life up. And that has always been what us, spiritual healers or shaman or those ascended masters, that's what we're always telling you, that you are more than what you appear to be. That's why now we'll tell you about your chakra. We'll tell you about your third eye. We'll tell you about your aura. We'll tell you about your psychic abilities, your spiritual gifts, your talent, your powers. And all of that is dealing with the regular life that you're going through. You scratching your ass, you peeing, you taking a shit, and doing all that regular shit, but also understand that even okay, let's let's dumb it all the way down. Even the shit that came out of your ass is vital. It's not even just that. That's why they use your feces for those for my organic people. Now listen, I'm not coming at nobody. I'm just saying, keep that in mind too. What I'm saying, shit, I'll be the first one to eat a maybe. Shit, I'm from Haiti, so if you want to talk about organic, I know all about it. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I just want you to keep that in mind too, to give you a broader perspective. For you not to be just limited to one aspect of your life, but to look at it from a broader perspective. Same thing, there is such a thing as urination. I can't recall exactly what was the term for it, but I think it's urination medicine or some shit. Meaning, you would think what you peeing, right, is the shit your body is rejecting shit that your body don't need, and now you could drink that shit to heal yourself. I'm just saying. So again, it's more than what it appears to be, and that's the type of consciousness that comes with spirituality, or that's what the occult is helping you is shedding light on. In other words, it's taking you in the darkness, but out of the darkness comes the light. That's what they're talking about here. That other side of you that you don't see, that's where that light is. Your true essence. So again, spirituality is you. Conscious or unconscious, it doesn't matter. So if you, it doesn't matter if you believe in Krishna, you believe tomatoes, tomatoes, and spirituality embraces all of it. That's why a true man of God or of wisdom. That's why I always say wisdom is wisdom, regardless of where it comes from. I am all of it, and I am none of it. But anyway, pretty much, just to sums it up, pretty much, because we got some other shit to talk about. Almost an hour. God damn it. So, spirituality is you. So now, what I want to talk to you guys about. In fact, you know what? Let's go back to that because that would be a great opening to our conversation here, right? So when we're talking about, let's just say, so now when you understand, nah, okay, never mind. Yeah, I try to do it that way. Never mind, never mind. So now, for the past couple of days, guys, I've been talking to you guys about um, self consciousness. But for you to become self conscious, I mean, you cannot suppress the self, and you, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why you have to accept yourself. But accepting yourself too, just so you guys know, because you were never trained to look at to accept yourself. Because if you're looking at the reality that we're living in, we have a self image of ourselves, and this is what our lives are based on. It's a self image instead of your self esteem or who you are. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it got to a point because I remember I was talking to this girl, and I went through it myself too, just so you guys know. But it was almost like, if you like fucking 30 years old, and I'm also saying that too, it's not your fault. You don't even know what you like. That's crazy. But deep inside of you, you do know. I mean, you just fighting that shit because you were not trained to appreciate the thing that you love or like, or even yourself. You were never trained to accept who you are. So it's not a coincidence. And that's what we call, if you want to talk about the matrix, that's what the matrix is. That's the world that we have created outside of the real shit. You want to say how powerful our fucking imagination is or ignorance is? But I also want you to embrace both sides of it. And that's where we're going to go because we're going to talk about dependence. But most importantly, what we're truly talking about here is polarity. Polarity. That's our nature, our essence is it's not a duality nature. Meaning we every what you call a good person also has some bad shit about them. And what you call who you call a bad person also have some good qualities in them too. That's what Jesus was saying. So pretty much when he was saying like even a guy who's let's just say a murderer, you wouldn't give a stone to your kid. You, you just wouldn't do that. Now, of course, what he was truly talking about there. I mean, I'm trying to get you to see, you know, additional things in what he was talking about. Because technically what he was talking about, just to show you, how much greater you are in sense of when God values you and loves you. I get that. So don't get it fucked up. I mean, I'm trying to point something else out to you here because that was a fully loaded statement. You could look at it from different perspectives. So anyone who's good can also be bad or have some bad shit about them. That's why we all have our strength and we all have our weaknesses. That's what polarity is. You have to embrace both sides of you. Even when you go to a job, if you're doing a job interview, they would ask you, well, what's your strength and what's your weaknesses? And then you say it's not my weakness, it's the shit that I gotta work on. Here's another bullshit too. Although I kind of get it, because once you embrace it, it stopped being a weakness. And that's what makes you a holy man. That's when you become perfect. But when you're talking in terms of duality, that's what you see when you have a good angel and a bad angel. Now you have a fight. In our perspective, derives from we eat from the tree of good and evil. You're looking at life from a duality perspective. And because you're looking at life from a duality perspective, that's why you don't embrace different aspects. You don't embrace all of you. If you want to be good or you want to be like you have to suppress your desires. No, no. That's why those priests are fucking those little boys. That's because they're suppressing their emotions, and you can't suppress it. But also, as you delve deeper into that, that's why they are imbalanced. Whenever you don't embrace the polarity in you, you automatically become imbalanced. And if you are imbalanced, going back to when we were talking about the alignment of your mental and with your emotions, you're not gonna see Christ. You're not gonna attain your highest level of consciousness. Your perspective is always gonna be one-sided because you picked a side instead of looking at it from both perspectives. So that's why I tell people too, mythology is the highest level of mind control. And it doesn't matter if you believe in, let's just say you don't believe in fucking religion. You said fuck religion, but you have the baseline understanding of what they have. You have the same baseline understanding of the way they look at life. You just don't talk about Jesus. But if you, let's just say, if you a Republican and you're saying fuck Democrat, well, it's the same shit about saying good and evil. In fact, it may derive from that. If you're saying I am an atheist, I don't follow religion, I think for myself, but yet you behaving just the way they are behaving, and just so you know, the idea of mind control, it's not for you to be religious. It's for you to think that way, which is a one-sided way. Then when you're looking at our culture, what do we have? Blood, trips, Democrat, Republican, you know what I'm saying? It's a gang thing. But all of it derives from a duality perspective, meaning the tree of good and evil. And because you look at yourself from that perspective, you become very limited. Let me give you an example. In fact, this is what I also wanted to talk about too: dependency and being independent. This is our nature. Both of our nature, we are both independent and dependent. Now, there's a difference between being dependent and codependent. All of us are needy and capable. Now, that's what you need to realize about yourself. We are all needy and capable. We are both strong and weak at the same time. And that's what makes you, if you want to look at yourself as you were created in God's image, that's why, you are also the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. That's your true essence. That's why no one who was good, it's 100% good, and no one who was bad, it's just totally bad. Doesn't exist. And I guess let me say this for my ladies. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see with with a lot of our women who's being independent because they think they have to choose a side. Because if they appear like they are dependent, as they have always been for quite some times, they were looked at as being weak. Again, that is out of that self support too, because you never had the support of self. Then now you are acting independent, but you truly needy. You become more needy than you think. Far from truly being independent. Because to be true independent, you have to learn how to be dependent. If you do you have your own house, you have your own car, well, you have to be dependent on your job. Now I get it. It's not like you ain't giving them nothing. I never said you were codependent. You see, that's what I think a lot of people will have a misconception of being dependent and codependent. Now, when you're codependent, you're expecting, everything to be done for you. That's codependent. But dependent means they do for you, you do for them. You're not codependent. You are dependent. So it's part of our nature. Although you may say to yourself, okay, this is my job, I'm doing this, but if they shut down, you're gonna have to get another one. You're gonna have to get another job. Or you're depending on your job. But now slow down. I got my other folks. My entrepreneur, my independent motherfuckers. Now you have a business. Cool. You're saying that you're gonna be independent. Guess what you're gonna be dependent on now? People to run your business. Unless if you're gonna run the business by yourself, you let me know. Let me know. Do you see, like, the minute you choose a side, you lose? Because even if you create a business, now your dependency is going to be different. Now, you may not depend on a job to pay you. Now you're going to depend on other people to help you get money. And ultimately, you're going to depend on your customers too. So if you truly want to talk about depending, oh, you got a lot going on there. Now you're depending not just on the people. That's why you have good customer service, appreciate our client, appreciate our customers because they pay our salary, right? That was for my independent niggas. Don't fall for the bullshit, man. Don't fall for the okey doke, baby. Don't fall for the okey doke. So ultimately, we are all needy. Now, your issue with needy is a misconception that you have. You're looking at needy as codependent. That's being needy doesn't mean we all need somebody. Isn't that what makes us needy? But again, you probably say needy, you meant codependent. Got it. But the problem is because you're looking at it from a codependency perspective. Now you have become even more needy because now you're choosing a side. Whereas you do not choose any side, you embrace both sides. Whether you have a job or you have your own business. In fact, that's why you see the niggas that have more business, they learn how to depend on other people. So you want to be needy and you want the better dependent you are, the better of independent you become. Let me say that again. The better dependent you become, the better independent you become. Y'all looking at it sideways. You're not even looking at it straight. Something wrong with your eyes, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Hmm, doesn't make sense. And what you see, because I know, and for me personally, I had to understand that, had to embrace my dependency because I didn't have support. I'm thinking it's only me doing everything for me, and that's not true. You by yourself cannot do anything for you. Let's just say you don't have a mentor. Do you read books? Was those your original ideas or understanding? Help! I need help. I need help. I'm saying you never do anything by yourself. It's always been a collective shit. That's why the African tells you it takes a village to raise a child. It does. But don't look at it from just because your aunt used to whoop somebody else's house. I mean, because I noticed that's the only way that people look at it. From let's just say, you would hear like, mostly my elders. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all too, my ancestors. They have a tendency to be like, you remember back in the days. That's why you respected elders because anybody could have been your mom and dad. And the truth is, that's what it is. And that's why we do all of, come on, man. This is again showing you how dependent we are. And the more dependent you are and learn to be, the more independent you become. So now, as I was going back to my ladies, unfortunately, this is where a lot of you, due to a lack of self support, now you think for you to show yourself, you have to pick a side. And the minute you do so, you're not attractive. You are not in harmony. I know a lot of you like to say, you have a strong mentality, and guys are afraid of that. Fuck out of here. You got all the way the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit! Shout out my man DNA. Get your word to get the fuck out of here. Get that mentality to get the fuck out of here. Get all that shit the fuck out of here. It's out of ignorance. Or I get it, but ignorance meaning, but also, out of that lack of self support. I went there, so I understood. And for me to pretty much become complete, having a broader perspective, because I have now, for me, I had to acknowledge the other people that I came across, the people that helped me, the people that give me tips, man. I couldn't do it by myself. No fucking way. I had a fucking economic teacher, this motherfucker. Listen, man, he was working me out. He gave me the business. And economic in itself, too, comes with a state of mind. Oh, trust and believe. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention the other people that I learned from. Come on, man. I couldn't do it myself. Now, understand this because I couldn't do it myself, I went through it too. Do you see? That's why you have to embrace both parts. Because it ain't like I was sitting on my ass being just codependent. I was also searching for that wisdom too. So, your nature, you have to embrace the polarity in you. Understand that you are both dependent and independent. My ladies, how how y'all doing? That's for you. Hey girl, how you doing? That's for you, babe. Mm. You know what I'm saying? So because and that's the problem. Now, even though you're saying fuck religion, but you have that baseline understanding, which is a lack, which is a duality perspective, which is a gang mentality. Do, can you imagine how much more conscious you would be if you are and at that point you wouldn't even call yourself a Democrat or a fucking Republican either, because if you embrace both qualities in both of them, it gives you more knowledge, does it not? It gives you more a broader perspective when you're looking at shit. But if you already, it's only like you already prejudged the shit before you even know the shit. In fact, Chris Rock also talk about that shit. I mean, obviously he wasn't talking about it from a from a polarity perspective, but I get what he was trying to say. He was trying to tell you, man, like, I mean, whatever. He said it the way he said it. I mean, he made it, you know what I'm saying? I just do me. But I get what he's saying. So he was telling you, be a fucking person. Think, see the best possible perspective or outcome. It doesn't have to be already, you already prejudged the shit. That's what being one sided is. Do you notice? And I noticed that too. Even with Christianity, they automatically anything that is not the Christ, what they know, it's no good. It's evil. It's dark. But it all makes sense too, because as part of their narrative, it is also said to them anything that is not what this is. It's not, so they behave like they're gods. And this is what spirituality does too. We have a broader perspective. And I'm just trying to give you that Christ consciousness. And that's how we're giving sights to the blinds. Listen, man. That's how over here, if you paralyzed, baby, you're going to walk. You hear me? You're going to run. Fuck walking. What are we doing? So learn how to be dependent. And the minute you're trying to suppress that, you become imbalanced. And then you become even more needy now because you have to satisfy that side of you. Why do you think your businesses, they giving you bonuses at the end of the year? I mean, all of that as a sign of appreciation because they are depending on you too. So the whole idea of you understanding your nature, that's how you setting yourself free, meaning you becoming the Christ-like, the enlightened one. When you get to see both sides of you, now that's what being a good human being is. That's why your sanity can only come from you knowing who you are. Until then, everything you do or say is going to be insane. So to truly embrace your dependency, it's not a sign of weakness at all. Far from it. Not at all. If you got a house and you got a job, well, you might as well, when you go to work, you better do your job, motherfucker. You better go to work not doing the job. What are we talking about? Now, some of us may take it on a whole different level. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for promotions and all that shit. Anyway, I mean, it's all good, being competitive. Have at it. It's your world, baby. It's all good. Now, me, I'm here to serve you. I'm your loyal and loyal servant. Proudly. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're always gonna get the best out of it. That's why I love what I'm doing. I love serving you. Listen, I love it because my reward is already in it. But anyway, now let's go back to because the point that I want you to really get. Oh, you're fucking out. I always try to keep the video short, because I don't need to be like over like what I'm saying. I don't want to lose you guys too much. But anyway, let's summarize pretty much. Okay, so what I was saying about my ladies there, it was just a little bit of message for them, but most importantly, it's you understanding and embracing your true nature. By you understanding the polarity in you, that's what that does. Now you have a better perspective on you, but about you, but most importantly, guess what you're doing? You are becoming more enlightened. Now you could start seeing shit beyond the veil. Now you could stop blaming yourself too, because you gain nothing out of blaming yourself. Because I know. Because at one point, just because I always felt like I was the one doing everything for myself, I used to be my worst critic. And then until I realized, whoa, 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 what the fuck are you doing here, buddy? Hearing myself be like, hey, motherfucker, what are you, hey, nigga, this is both of us here, man. The fuck are we talking about? You think you're doing all this shit by yourself, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Remember, I had an open heart. First of all, I'm the one guiding you. Because when I started making that connection with my higher self, And ironically, as you're doing all of that too, your guides are coming through your whatever. I mean, listen, it's a cosmic connection. That's what you see when you see those two gods, the higher self, empowering, I mean, passing on that whatever the fuck. This is all your regular shit. There's nothing, well, you could call it mysterious. I mean, in a sense, I mean, I kind of love that mysterious shit too. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. You know what I'm saying? But I'm exposing all the shit. You ain't got to worry about it. I'm pulling all that shit out for you. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that statue or that picture, and it's showing you the connection with you and you. You know what I'm saying? When I started having a higher consciousness, how how can I how did I even dare to think I was doing everything myself? And suppressing or negating all those great minds that I met along the way. Come on, baby, you know this is for you too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop a little something for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Both alive and on the other side. So when you understand that, even that's why the truth, you have to discover the truth. Because the truth is already around you. The knowledge is already here. The whole idea of Jesus already died for you, all you gotta do is accept it to that's what that shit means. The knowledge is already there. You have to become more conscious than to see it. And that's what makes it a hidden thing. That's why a lot of those occult, they would refer to the mystery or some shit, the hermetic shit. All that shit is hidden. It's just the esoteric. You got to go in. You got to find it. You got to go beyond what you're looking at. And that type of wisdom is helping you now to go beyond what you see. In other words, helping you to reconnect, taking you back home, your true essence. So that's why you'll see too. That's why the words got to be made flesh. As Jesus walked and talked about the shit that he talked about, you also have to become that. That's what that model represented for you. It wasn't meant for you to worship as something that's outside of you. The minute you do that, you're missing out on the whole point. But it was meant for you to see that model and for you to become that. That's why he even said that to you too. You want to be like me, or you want to pick up your cross. And if they did that to him, that was a warning to let you know, as you growing in your in becoming in becoming enlightened, those are the things you have to overcome yourself too. I know for me, that's why I dealt with my a lot of haters. You know what I'm saying? People trying to hold me down. I mean, you like that. This is what it is. Because as you're becoming more of the light, you start to radiate. Now you are irritating. You showing everybody else is their shadow, and they're not ready for it, so they're gonna fuck you up. So if you want to call it a war between good and evil, you can. I get what you're saying, but it's beyond that. And anybody who's that's why these people, a lot of your haters, you know what? Ironically, last night I was on some detective shit. I was on some FBI detective shit. For some reason, man, it was New Year's, and I don't know, man. I was on my shit. I was smoking and drinking, but anyway, I started watching some of the what is it called? Is it actually in Tubi or Tubi? I don't know how you pronounce that shit, right? So it's like you think you know. It's all about detective work, what they do and how they do it. And it's like I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, oh my god, I cannot. It's like I am so on point with this shit. Not that I needed to have that confirmation, but it's just like when you know it, you know it. You'll see a lot of the criminals, they are one-sided people. Their motivation has always been jealousy, hatred. Like it's a lack of self. They were one-sided. And when you're dealing with guys, I'm going through some shit myself too. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to, because I tap into their energy too. Truly see how they feel. I'm like, damn. Oh, it's an ugly sight. The hatred they have for themselves, not for me. That's why you can't, like, for me, I mean, I can't be part of their demise. You know what I'm saying? It's like they hate you so much, they want you to hate yourself too. Nah, that motherfucker, that's you. Like, she got nothing to do with me. Oh, why would I hate myself because you hate yourself? Does what you eat make me shit? I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm sleeping good at night. Yeah, I ain't got none to worry. I'm not worried over my shoulder. If anything, I'm worried about it's when it's time for me, you know, to come see you. Oh, I'm coming to see y'all. Oh, you gonna see me? Don't worry. You might be, if you're looking for me. No, I'm coming to see you. Don't worry about you seeing me. I'm coming to see you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah, I'm coming to see you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hey, do your best, baby. Do your worst too. Have at it. You know what I'm saying? But when I aim, I never miss. You shooting everywhere right now. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, I'm wild. I'm wild. I'm wild. I can't be part of your demise, man. But anyway, going back to, understanding, and again, this is why it's important for you to become mentally balanced because again, it doesn't really matter if you're religious or not, because now you already have the whole system has that foundation, the baseline of your thinking already comes from that. So even if you don't believe in God, but guess what? You keeping up with the Joneses. Like that's why a lot of people that's why they always tell you hear it all the time. You always tell the Christian, yo, you're just the same as everybody else. You're criticizing everybody. You might even be worse than everybody else. That's the only difference, which is no difference. Let me say that again. You know what? I don't even say it again. Fuck it. That's why there's no benefit in talking about Jesus. It means nothing until you start acting like Jesus. Oh, now, okay, now we talking. And you cannot start acting like him if you don't see him in you. You know what I'm saying? If Muhammad Ali's your guy, well, you got to see Muhammad Ali in you. So if you love him or whatever the fuck, then your footwork is gonna be immaculate. Not necessarily just the way he was, but you're gonna be inspired to move your feet a little bit. You gotta be light with the jab, baby. Yo, I seen this motherfucker like his combination was crazy. That's my nigga too. You know what I'm saying? I did a little bit of something, something. You know what I'm saying? So I tell him, come try me. Come try me. You know what I'm saying? And again, me embracing both sides of me too. You know what I'm saying? And like somehow, nah, man. If you gonna send me to heaven, I'm gonna send you to hell. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you got me fucked up. But all of this is just I want you to get to embrace your polarity. And the minute you pick a side, you become one-sided and you have half of the perspective. And you will never see the kingdom of God. You'll never be closer to God. You'll never have the highest level of enlightenment. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. And because in that mythology, there's always a war between the good and evil, then you got to pick a side. And because you got to pick a side, you're gonna always be lacking on that whichever side you choose to be. If it's on that side, you're gonna be lacking on that side. If you choose to be on this side, you're gonna be lacking on that side. So you'll never be whole. How do you get to see the bigger perspective then? In fact, if you go to college, I don't think you even have to go to college, but certain papers that you're doing, let's just say in high school, they may ask you what would be the opposite thinking of that. Because the idea of you understanding the opposite of what you're saying statement or and is for you to have, I'm sorry, a broader perspective or for you to see what you're saying better. You never thought you see something the way you see it and then you hear something else, you're like, oh shit, I didn't think of that. I know. Yeah, we all know, motherfucker. So how do you not embrace everything? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Help! See, I should title this needy. I'm needy. You let me know if I'm weak or not. Nigga, out of your mind. You see, because you guys, because of your weakness, you don't embrace your intimacy, your vulnerability, not knowing this is how you build your inner strength. So you will forever be weak. You're going to be the loudest one to speak. I get it. I get it. You're just making noises, baby. You know, the nigga that speak the loudest, I was the first one to run. Those are the niggas who do not want to go to jail. How do you be so gangster and afraid to go to jail? You make that shit make sense to me. What the fuck? That nigga was the realest gangster. I don't know, man. Help! Help! I'm needy. So the bottom line is, first, this whole journey is about the self. And that's why when I've been talking about self esteem, and I kind of break it down to help you to understand the reason why most of us are concerned with our self image. And the minute you do that, you are suppressing the self. Because now at this point, you become one sided, but most importantly, not even just one sided. It's like, shit, like, I mean, of course it is, but because you are also the external too, but it's like it's like you fuck the whole shit up. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna be missing something. And when you embrace both sides of you, that's why even when we're talking about success, you know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these guys, I was looking at Leonardo uh, DiCaprio, this motherfucker, he went to Indonesia, and that was a long time ago. Because he's saying when he's not acting, he's not doing movie. And of course, this motherfucker got a lot of money, but he goes there to balance himself. Like, I know what the fuck he's doing. He understood he had to feed that other side of him. You know what I'm saying? I have not seen anything about his net worth. Do you see what I'm saying? And does that mean he doesn't have a lot of money? Shit, this motherfucker got a lot of Titanic. Well, I don't know if he got paid for a lot for Titanic, but that motherfucker's it's this nigga. This motherfucker got skills, man. Not even that. I remember when I was watching Django, whatever the fuck. This name motherfucker, even Jimmy Fox was saying how hard it was for this nigga to say nigga. Like, nah, man, get the fuck out of here too, though. He ended up doing it though. I got you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I'm not discrediting, how he may feel though. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, man, like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's all of it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know what I mean? I'm gonna leave that there. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get myself cut up in that shit. But anyway, the bottom line is what I'm trying to say is when you embrace both sides of you, that's why you see, you know what I'm saying? Even that's when you become successful too. Or when I say successful, when you come to fame and money, you gotta have a balanced head. And when you do and when that does not happen, everybody will know it too. Oh, everybody, nobody wants to work with this guy. He disrespect everybody. He's yell. Hey, does that sound something like somebody you know? I'm gonna leave that one alone too. I'm gonna leave that one alone too. But what's understood does have to be explained. The overall picture here. You know what I'm saying? You're true when you have self fulfillment. In other words, to truly have self fulfillment. If we're going back to my lady, how you doing? What's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? I love you know what I'm saying? Looking fine, girl. Trying dependent ass. Learn how to be dependent, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You are also dependent too. Don't pick a side. Embrace both sides of it. Now, with all that being said, I think I'm gonna leave it here. You know what I'm saying? Always remember to give is to receive. For you to be you, nobody else can be around. And always remember the remedy of the pain is in the pain. I shan't. Mali.